Kevin, what you're saying, and you mentioned the word hope. Policymakers are hoping all this extra power from Queensland and Victoria coming across the border to make up for the deficit after the closure of Liddell. What is drawing from that power from interstate going to do to the wholesale price of power, which of course translates through to people's electricity bills?
Well, it's naturally going to drive up prices in those states, and so the states that this is going to affect are the states that are connected to the national electricity market. So the national electricity market is essentially just the energy grid that serves the eastern seaboard states plus South Australia. So that's Queensland, Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania, and South Australia. And the electricity markets in these states are connected together, which means that any electricity shortfall in New South Wales can be made up for by supplies in Queensland and Victoria. And instinctively, you can imagine a reduction in supply of electricity in Queensland, for example, as a result of a greater degree of export into New South Wales, would mean that assuming that demand stays stable, would mean that price will need to adjust in order for electricity price to be at equilibrium. That would increase price in Queensland, and so the shortfall in New South Wales will not affect just the state of New South Wales, but also other states connected to it, including Victoria and South Australia, Tasmania.
It's unbelievable. We're sharing the pain right up and down the eastern seaboard and into South Australia. Absolutely. For this decision. It's crazy. Kevin, your article it's very, very concerning. You say that we need to act now to avoid disaster. What needs to happen immediately in the short and the long term to avoid not just prices continuing to skyrocket, but to avoid the grid from collapsing or getting into a situation where we no longer have reliable electricity?
Well, what needs to happen in the short run is that we need to stop this madness. After Liddell's closure, that's it. We need to stop closing down coal-fired power station in a mad dash for net zero by 2050. We need to take stock of where we are now, what supplies we've got available to us, and what we want the future of our energy grid to look like in order to meet the demands of the future. We need to actually have a real think about it. The fact that the Treasurer has announced, alongside with the budget, and the creation of a net zero authority to plan out the transition to net zero 2 years after net zero has been committed to, is a sign that politicians are admitting that they have got no idea what they're doing. Yet, while we're shooting in the dark, coal-fired power stations continue to close. We're continuing to lose reliable supplies of power. And so we need to stop this madness, repeal the Net Zero Act, and actually have a thorough think about what we want our electricity grid to look like in the future to address the demands of the future. And take into consideration what will be the role that nuclear energy will play in the future. Nuclear energy right now nuclear energy generation right now is still banned by Section 140A of the EPBC Act for reasons that are beyond me. What will be the role of high efficiency, low emissions coal in the future? How are we going to address the waste associated with continuous replacement of solar panels?
Kevin, lots of issues there, lots of issues there which our politicians
Absolutely.
haven't even begun to think of. As you said, they're shooting in the dark, and they could well be leaving us in the dark.